Hello, people. Welcome to the new episode of my series on Canadian immigration programs in the year 2022. Today is 19th of March, and in this video, I'll be focusing on PNPs. Before I dive into details, let me do a quick review of my first episode. In that video, I summarized all the different streams into 6 major categories. I further mentioned that some of those categories may not be useful for a big majority of people. For example, number 6 here, which is RNI. This is a community driven program. In this stream, an individual has to he has to find a community who is willing to sponsor him. So again, if someone does not have a connection in Canada, no relatives, he has never been there, he has no chance of being selected by some community. So that's why I'm calling it useless. The other program that will not help big majority of people is CEC, or number 2 on the slide, because this program requires, I think, at least 1 year of Canadian experience, which means you have experience of working in Canada one way or the other. And then the third program is Atlantic. Previously it was a pilot. It became a program on its own, actually from March. But this program is also employer driven, which means you need to have a job offer from an employer who is based in Atlantic provinces or one of the Atlantic provinces. Why I consider this program useless or not really helpful? Because if someone has experience of attempting to get job offers, they will know how difficult it is to get a job offer. We do have some rare examples, but in my case, in my profession, I have been applying for 5 years, and it simply does not work without work permit. So anyhow, the big majority of people, they of course definitely, as obvious, they apply in federal skill programs, which is like number 4 and number 3 on this slide. And in case a person has a score of 475 points, it's only a matter of time he is invited sooner or later. But for people who are below the average cutoff these days, they stand quite low chance. Eventually what happens is that these people apply and wait and never get invited, their profile gets expired, their English test get expired, and so on. So eventually, for those people, which includes me as well, we have only one hope, which is PNPs, or Provincial Nomination Programs, which is number 5 in this series. In this slide. And that will be a focus of my discussion in this video. So when we talk about PNPs, in theory, I'm saying in theory because there is a reason for it. In theory, we have 11 programs in total for each region or province, and each province, then they have sub-programs, which is for different kind of people. For example, they have a stream for investors. Of course, obviously it doesn't apply to very big majority of people because the requirements are exponential, right? Exorbitant requirements about investment of funds and net wealth. So it doesn't apply to big majority of people. We can ignore that stream for investors. Then they have a stream for international graduates who are inside Canada in that province on a student visa. So typically, a student visa is linked to the duration of the program, and at the end of the program, the student is expected to return to his home country, right? But then he has an opportunity, a window of opportunity, to apply under PNP as an international graduate. And as expected, it doesn't form big majority of people, especially experienced professionals, right? Like for example, I graduated many years ago. I cannot really, I don't really want to use international graduate stream because for that I'll have to arrange a student visa, get admission in some university, which could be like 2 years course or whatever. And then I have to, still it's not guaranteed. I have to apply for PR in PNP and hope for nomination. So it's a whole mayhem, right? So that's why I'm saying investor stream or international graduate stream doesn't apply to big majority of people. So what we need to focus within the PNP discussion is the skilled workers stream, which I believe is the big majority of the people. Now the thing is why I said in theory, right? In theory is because 7 out of 11 provinces, they require a job offer. So as long as someone does not have a job offer, he simply cannot apply for being nominated by that province. Now, why I think getting a job offer is difficult, because that's because it has to be from an eligible employer. It's just like, it's not like any hanky-panky company can give you an offer and you're good to go. No, it doesn't work that way. The employer has to be eligible. There's a criteria for it. then the job offer should be for 1 year at least, permanent. Then it has to be followed by a positive LMIA, which refers to LMIA refers to labor market impact assessment. It's a procedure where you can say the authorities have to establish that importing labor from or workers from outside Canada will not negatively impact labor market inside Canada, right? And once all of these conditions are fulfilled, the job offer is endorsed by the province, and only then it becomes a valid job offer. Now, this whole mayhem and the hassle is so big that no employer wants to go into all that hectic. So, 7 provinces, as I said, they require a job offer, which is British Columbia, Yukon, Newfoundland, Northwest, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Ontario. All of these provinces require a job offer, and as long as you do not have an offer, you simply cannot apply under these programs. So they are out of the list for me, in my opinion. Only I should highlight here that Ontario, they often randomly select individuals from the federal express entry pool. I could not find the criteria, or I could not find what triggers the selection. That's why I'm calling it random. It's pure luck, works or doesn't, who knows. Furthermore, in case of New Brunswick, they often conduct job fair internationally in collaboration with employers based in their province. So they call it something like, they are facilitating employers to find foreign workers. They have a dedicated page on their website. They claim to publish schedule of job fair, which I am trying to follow since last month. There's not a single entry, but anyhow, you can go there, find that page on Google. So in theory, they conduct job fairs in different countries, and if by any chance they are going to have a job fair in your city, you can just go in there. You'll meet employers from New Brunswick, and let's hope if you can impress them and break a deal. So anyhow, all of these 7 programs, they one way or the other require a job offer. Anyhow, so we are left with 4 provinces, being Alberta, Manitoba, Prince Edward, and Saskatchewan. In my opinion, also, Alberta is not practical, because if you go to the website of Canadian province, you will see so many streams. When you read those papers, eventually you find that one by one those streams do not apply to you, and the only stream that could apply to us potentially is the skilled workers. But then they have a small phrase there saying that you can only apply to for nomination or for being nominated by Alberta if you are invited. So who invites, based on what and when, nobody knows. I think it could be for people who are there on temporary work permit, maybe, or on a student visa. Maybe those people may have a chance, but again, practically speaking, Alberta doesn't work for people like you and me who have never been to Canada. The second province which could work for us is Manitoba. This program does not require a job offer, but it does require a connection. By connection, it means that you should have a relative or a friend who is a permanent resident of Manitoba, and that relative or friend should not be sponsoring another immigrant. So if you can find somebody like that who is willing to sponsor your application, you can hope to get a nomination from Manitoba. So these 2 programs, Alberta and Manitoba, are kind of 50-50 in my opinion. Now, when we talk about pure PNPs, you can look into Prince Edwards, or PEI. And the process is very simple. First of all, you raise your express entry profile in the federal program, and then you simply go to PEI website, and then submit something called PEI express entry. The other province where we can also apply is Saskatchewan. Again, the process is very similar. You just raise your express entry profile with federal program, and then you go to this website, ignore everything else, just go to express entry of Saskatchewan and apply, and that's the end of the story. So to cut it short, make it simple, we have 11 programs in theory, but only 7 requires a job offer, so they are not practical for us unless you can find a job offer. Is something else, but practically they do not work for a big majority of people. We are left with 4 programs, but again, in Alberta, they say you are supposed to be invited to be applying, so it doesn't work. And Manitoba, if you can find a relative or a friend, then it can work maybe. So essentially we have to focus on 2 programs. Basically, we have to focus on everything, but again, just to close your checklist for the submissions, you can submit your federal profile, and then you can go straight away to Prince Edward and Saskatchewan and submit the profile. I hope this video helps in understanding the mayhem about PNPs. If you have questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.